Welcome to CTV News Your Canada. It's Tuesday, November 18th. We'll bring you profiles of fascinating Canadians and stories about your community. Thanks for watching.
There's no other audience I'd rather be playing for than this audience right here.
Traveling across Canada with his band Blue Rodeo, Mike Boguski is taking time in each city to make someone's day.
He's in a stratosphere that's a little bit different than ours, financially and notoriety, but yet he's coming to a place where people are in need and what have you, just to, yes, serve as a pick-me-up.
The cost of love and understanding.
Prior to the show at Canada Life Place, the keyboardist stopped by the London Coffee House drop-in space to play a free concert.
If I can just bring an hour of music to people who may not be able to come to tonight's show, that's pretty awesome because, recognizing people as human beings with faces is what it's all about. Everyone loves music, not everybody can afford a ticket.
The London Coffee House has a long history of serving a cup of coffee or just giving support to both men and women who are either homeless or at risk of homelessness.
Creating accessibility to the arts, to things that bring that sense of joy and hope and really inspire people through creativity is wonderful. I mean, we look at like the whole spectrum of wellness, right? And the basic needs, housing, that's one piece, the survival. And then when we can add things like this that really just bring that sense of meaning and joy and purpose and connection through community is super exciting.
On this tour, Mike began playing for local food banks at libraries. But when in British Columbia, he discovered a community shelter and started playing for the unhoused.
If I can find somebody who was willing to believe me that I actually am Mike Boguski from Blue Rodeo who wants to play your community shelter, I'll be playing. But, if you're under 40, just Google Blue Rodeo. We're a popular band, and, I want to play your shelter.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
The 112th Grey Cup champions, Saskatchewan Roughriders!
The morning after the Riders hoisted the Grey Cup and green and white confetti flute at Princess Auto Stadium, fans of the team were eager to get their hands on some Grey Cup merch at the Rider store. Whether it was Grey Cup champions hats or t-shirts, the clothing was flying off the shelves.
What a great game. It was good to watch. It's good word at the end of it, though.
And as players made their way back to Mosaic Stadium, Rider Nation was there to greet them, some saying that they couldn't miss this opportunity to welcome the team home.
I went down to Winnipeg on Friday, drove from Saskatoon 8 hours, but had to come, so on my way back home, I had to come support them.
Then it was time for some of the riders to deliver speeches and get the crowd fired up.
Play hard and win hard, baby!
So this Grey Cup is your guys' as well. So anybody that wants to say we only got 5, well, guess what? How many did they get this year?
Next up for the green and white is the Grey Cup Parade, and for some, it'll be a first-time experience, even if they've been covering local sports for 40-plus years.
I've been to Grey Cup parades with my mom in Toronto in 76, 78, Montreal 79, 81, Toronto in 80, the Grey Cup parade preceding the game. I've never been to a Rider Grey Cup victory parade, and so I'll take one off the bucket list tomorrow.
Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Christine Robert, who has mental health issues and osteoarthritis in her back and hip, is now living in a rooming house.
I don't have to freeze to go to the bathroom. I don't have to freeze to go in to get somewhere warm.
We first told you her story earlier this month when she was living in a collapsed tent. She had been homeless since April after being evicted from Sudbury Housing for not looking after her apartment, something she admits was her own fault. She says after the story aired, many people offered new tents and supports.
I really appreciated it. It came at a very, very helpful time and desperate time because I did not know where I was going to go or do.
Outreach workers also helped her connect with the landlord of the rooming house, who also saw the story.
Yes, very, very grateful. You don't know how much. She's a lifesaver.
The Go Give Project confirms it helped Robert with support and transportation from Energy Court to the rooming house where she pays to stay. Robert says she has compassion and deep concerns for everyone living outdoors right now.
I'm hoping and wishing and praying that something comes up of it, or even the city steps in and does something, because we're freezing out there. They're freezing.
Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
It's been a difficult few months for Margaret Fraser since her sister Catherine, a well-known Sydney piano teacher for decades, died of complications from kidney failure back in June.
She was far too young and had so much more to give.
The Frasers have for generations been a family of music teachers, including Margaret's mother Rosemary, who passed away in 2018, and her father Peter, who at 86 is now retired. Now Margaret Fraser is helping head up an annual scholarship fund in honor of her parents and sister. The goal is to raise $100,000 for people who want to study music in university and come back home to teach in the Atlantic provinces.
Ideally, if we were able to raise more money than that, it would be lovely to be able to provide somebody with full tuition.
Kevin Orrell took lessons from both Peter and Catherine Fraser. He says the family's passion for teaching makes it easy for former students like himself to contribute to the cause.
The family has had a very significant legacy in Sydney. They have been responsible for literally thousands of people that have learned music.
And this family's dedicated their entire life to music teaching.
Kelly Rice was a longtime friend of Catherine Fraser's and a former student of Rosemary's. He sees this as a timely tribute to his lifelong pal.
She wasn't somebody who sort of put herself forward. She put her students forward. She always thought about them.
I'm able to do that because it turns out Catherine Fraser was my piano teacher for more than a decade, and though it's been 25 years since then, I can personally attest that Catherine was more than just a music teacher to me. She was a mentor and certainly a friend. So far, about $15,000 has been committed to the scholarship fund. As for how Margaret's sister might feel about this,
I think she'd be astonished that people are considering giving money in her memory, but I think she'd also be tickled pink.
Looking to turn a recent loss into something that hits the right note. Ryan McDonald, CTV News, Sydney.
The Chicks are coming to Burroughs Creek.
Through the voice of local country legend Jason McCoy, two of the Boots and Hearts headliners were revealed on Pure Country 106. The Chicks, formerly known as the Dixie Chicks, will headline the main stage on Saturday, August 8, while Rascal Flatts will close out the festival the next day.
The thing about Boots and Hearts is they always marry the classics with today's country, and it just gives a full fan experience. So the Chicks, 13 Grammys, 30 million albums sold, what's not to love, Rascal Flatts, and then a great lineup of Canadians. Here at the house.
The James Barker Band and Brett Kissel are among the Canadian performers who will be mixed in with the other top country names, including Tucker Wetmore, Jesse Murph, and Sam Barber. Republic Live saying fan feedback called for a mix of artists that have not yet performed at Burroughs Creek.
We did that with Sam Barber, Max McNown, both Jesse Murph and Tucker Wetmore have never been.
For Brett Kissel, he returns to Boots after more than a decade, and he returns to Simcoe County after performing at the final night of the Troubadour Festival this past summer.
I'm incredibly proud of that. The fans in the area, businesses in the area, promoters in the area, would like to have me back. I told my team it's a no-brainer. I really want to be there, and I'm very, very honored that I get to return to Boots.
A noticeable change for Boots 2026 compared to previous years is the duration. What was normally a 4-day festival will become a 3-day Friday to Sunday. Republic Live saying it allows them to reduce ticket prices and provide more experience in less time.
We all know it can be tiring. Sometimes the heat last year was a lot. So instead of 4 days, we will condense it to 3 just to make a stronger impact and give the fans exactly what they want.
Tickets will be available for pre-sale starting Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. and public sale begins this Friday also at 10 a.m. Now, festival organizers did not provide an exact time frame for when Friday's headliner will be revealed, but they did say it will be announced soon. Mike Lang, CTV News, Burls Creek Event Grounds.
Performer Konstantin Tikumik, who goes by the name Konstantin for You, is passionate about making content. From interviews to original songs, focusing on gay identity and freedom of expression. His new song is about his fight with social media giant Meta. The 38-year-old is seeking thousands in damages over claims the company removed his popular Facebook page, which he paid to boost, and restricted access on Instagram, with the further claim that when a user clicked to see why, a disclaimer message appeared saying, "We restricted access to the content in the location where it goes against local law."
They made me look like a criminal. For a struggling artist to be labeled as a criminal, it's terrible. They damaged my reputation. They humiliated me. They robbed me. They took opportunities from me.
He says the situation caused him to lose confidence and led to depression. Years later, he says he believes being shut out was connected to his sexuality, but has never been given a proper explanation as to why.
I was putting myself out there as, part of LGBTQ. But my content again was not violating any of their guidelines. My content was about celebrating my freedom and trying to empower other people. I trusted Meta, and that's why I poured my last penny. Sometime I would be hungry and I would not buy myself a sandwich.
In court documents, Meta denies each and every allegation. In one statement of defense, it says it wants Facebook to be a place where people feel welcome and safe to express themselves, and may disable or delete accounts if a user repeatedly infringes on other people's intellectual property rights or if required for legal reasons. In another statement of defense, Meta explains the disclaimer related to local laws is from AgeGates, a feature that restricts access to an Instagram account with ages above a certain threshold, and that it was imposed by the plaintiff, adding Meta doesn't discriminate against the LGBT community. CTV News reached out to Meta about the Konstantin For You accounts and the case, but did not hear back.
Our voices matter. And they tried, and they did it very successful, and they silenced me, but I'm not anymore silent.
He says the case is scheduled to be heard the first week of December. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
A high-performance aquatics facility. These pictures are of a complex built in Markham for the Pan Am Games. Dorothy McCabe would like to explore bringing a training facility with a 50-meter pool, practice pool, conditioning rooms, and spectator seating to Waterloo.
I think we need to really think big and think for the future.
The mayor says too often elite athletes have to leave the area once they hit a certain level. The motion going to council says right now Wilfrid Laurier University has the only 50-meter pool in the entire region of Waterloo. It is getting older and doesn't quite meet competition standards.
It's still 6 lanes, so it's not a true Olympic facility. It should be considered like a training facility at only 6 lanes.
And it is a very busy training facility with clubs from as far away as Orangeville coming to use it.
It's a high-use facility, but it has its limits.
The mayor's motion is expected to be discussed at the council meeting next Monday. Mayor McCabe describing this as potentially the first step in what could be a long journey.
If the motion is passed, the mayor says it would send a signal to higher levels of government. They're interested in building such a facility, important as it would require provincial and potentially federal financial support.
You know, if you don't put your hand up and say we want to talk about it, then we won't get anywhere.
Having a facility like this
will definitely draw a lot of attention.
The prospect exciting for those in the swimming community.
It not only has a big impact for for the city and area, it will have a big impact for 200, 300 kilometer radius for Ontario.
A high-performance facility could also free up more time at community pools for swimming lessons and other recreational activities. It could also generate revenue hosting competitions.
It's definitely something that's missing.
Alistair Scorgie of Explore Waterloo Region says the organization would like to be able to host large-scale swimming and other water sports events in a way they can't right now.
There's more demand than there is supply in Ontario for a facility of this type.
As for where in Waterloo such a facility could be built,
we do know that we need to build a new West Side recreation facility. So if we were able to get the provincial dollars to do this, we would look to add that to the design.
As for the Laurier Pool, it remains in operation, but a year-long assessment is underway to determine its lifespan and future.
It's the most significant assessment that will have been done on the pool itself and the surrounding area to help us determine what we can do to go forward in a meaningful way.
The mayor says she's spoken with the provincial minister responsible for such things, who has indicated the government is looking for communities interested in building large athletic facilities like what's being proposed. We will see if next Monday Waterloo Council is interested in exploring the idea further too.
Is making a hat for one of the dolls, and I made it too big.
On the average day, Betty Chaborik has more time than she knows what to do with. More often than not, those days include her knitting needles.
I'm left-handed, and I was taught with the right hand. So I don't know how to switch it over, so it takes me a while to knit.
Chaborik turns balls of yarn into colorful dolls, an art she began perfecting years ago to please her granddaughters. Those same creations now find themselves in the hands of first responders.
They put them in the police cars and the fire trucks and handed them out.
What began as a donation to a holiday toy drive last year has these creations instead being handed out to children experiencing traumatic events. This year, Chaborik donated about 60 dolls to LaSalle emergency responders.
It gives me a thrill to imagine that some kid's going to really like this.
Toys can often be a handy tool for those on the front lines. Whether it be a fire or a car accident, the friendly distractions help children involved with the potentially traumatic incidents.
Oftentimes there are kids in the car, and it's very traumatic to them. They're crying, they don't know what's happening, they see their mother or father hurt. So this helps them just to hang on to something.
Each doll can take up to 2.5 days to complete, sporting different outfits to help boys and girls.
So they have caps, and the girl dolls have braids or something, so they can distinguish who to give what to.
The goal is for more of these dolls to find their way into the hands of children in need. As for Chaborik, she's hopeful her work can inspire others to help sow kindness into the community.
It makes you feel so good, and it helps so much. I wish people would do this more.
Robert Lothian, CTV News.
When calls will come in from CNEO, they'll appear here.
From this office, coordinated outreach.
Anchor is a non-police crisis response for individuals that are experiencing mental health and substance use-related events.
1 year after the launch of the Alternate Neighborhood Crisis Response Project, a mobile service running 24/7 in Centretown, tangible results.
The impact of Anchor has been, in some ways, beyond our expectations, but in other ways, we knew this was exactly what the community needed, and I think that's borne out in the data.
The pilot project is designed for Centretown residents to reach out to the community-led response team instead of police by calling 211. Since August 2024, Anchor has received more than 4,400 calls. 92% of them did not involve police.
They want this program as much as anyone. We get calls from police in the field who will say, we got to a call and we realized right away this wasn't a crime, but this person needs help. And now they have a resource that's dedicated, that's fast.
We are helping individuals and dealing with situations that we ourselves have been through and know how best to support our individuals and people who we take care of.
Crisis response workers like Betty Nantomboy connect people they help with services they need.
People have called us angels. We meet people where they are at, and we are able to, offer support with trauma-informed and culture-sensitive approaches.
The pilot project now expanding.
We're going a bit further west here from Preston Island Park.
And adding a post-crisis worker to the team. Katie Griffin, CTV News.
The snow machines at Rabbit Hill Ski Resort have been blowing snow throughout the evenings and into the mornings. Work well underway to get the hills ready for opening.
You know, you're talking 6 to 8 weeks of actual snowmaking to get us open.
But the long process has had to work around warm days, which has been the norm the last few years.
If you look at recent history, 4 of the last 5 Novembers have started exactly like this November for temperature. So this isn't really all that unusual.
And Rabbit Hill co-owner Derek Look says the weather just adds to the difficulty.
We're usually running and then we shut down and then we run again. So, we're always investing in new technology for snowmaking so that we can make more snow at warmer temperatures. If we could see those, evening temperatures of -15, that would be amazing.
The hill uses fan guns and air water sticks to blanket the hill. Look says it takes 40 to 50 million gallons of water to cover every run. That's roughly 150 to 190 million liters. Despite the warmer days, the hill continues to get its share of man-made snowfall.
I truly believe this will be kind of the norm moving forward, so we need to make sure we're keeping up with that.
Even though November has been above average, there is good news for skiers and snowboarders on the horizon.
You get to December 1st, 90% of the time there's snow on the ground that stays for the winter. So somewhere in the next couple of weeks I would expect some snow.
But the work continues for Look and his team.
We'll see how the next week goes, and that will tell us a lot of what we can open and when.
Aiming for an end of November opening. Gates Gorin, CTV News, Edmonton.
After driving near the water that winter day, Brian Lavery thought he saw a dog splashing in the ice.
And so I looked back and I just saw these little arms and legs going.
Without thinking, Brian raced into the frigid water, so far it reached his chest, and found a small child floating face down.
It was traumatic because I was afraid that when he stopped moving, that something terrible had happened.
When Brian turned the body over, he saw a little boy's face as red as a beet.
And he let out a big blast of air. It was a gift. I was so grateful.
That was 1968. Brian was barely 18, and the boy he saved, Michael Pickup, had just turned 2.
And that was the last time I saw Michael until about 3 weeks ago.
Until the now grown-up Michael came across this old newspaper article about the day he was the child saved from drowning and realized this was far more than just a story about him being an adventurous toddler.
And I think it was just that hit of, okay, had it not been for this guy, I'd be dead. I wouldn't be here today.
So Michael started searching for Brian online from BC before finding him in Nova Scotia and then flying across the country so they could meet each other for the first time in 56 years.
It was like we had known each other without knowing each other.
It was moving.
Yeah, it was really quite lovely.
Well, Brian had received multiple thank you letters from Michael's family at the time, calling him brave and a miracle. Michael finally got to express his gratitude in person, calling Brian a hero.
That touches you in a way that you can't really put into words.
Michael says the experience inspired him to pay it forward by helping others. Along with working as BC's Auditor General, he was recently recognized with the King's Coronation Medal for outstanding public service.
This is my second chance, and I'm going to make the best of it.
Well, Brian says he ended up saving 2 other people from drowning over the years, teaching him that life is precious.
You can't live in the past, you can't live in the future, you only have the present.
So cherish it, Brian says, and always help others do the same. Adam Sawatsky, CTV News.
Wow.